Welcome back to Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton as we get set for the second half of action here in the 110th Grey Cup. Dustin Neilson and Marshall Ferguson with you. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers leading 17-7, looking to make it 3 of the last 4 Grey Cups. What do you see happening here in the second half, Mark?
Well, the first thing is the interesting debate at halftime about whether you take the points or whether you don't.
I
Montreal,
know.
you got to go for that one. I'm with Bo Levi Mitchell on that, man. I understand where Lapo and Jim Barker are coming from, but you got to go in that situation and try and put a 7 on the board because field goals are not going to be good enough to beat St. Claire's unless you're able to create a whole bunch of turnovers in the second half. And again, as Bo was just saying, they were really close at being able to get a couple of picks, confuse his eyes, and change the feeling of this game.
Montreal gets the ball to begin the third quarter. Letcher takes it, has a little bit of space, and this will help. Letcher all the way up to the 50, an instant field position for the Montreal Alouettes to start the second half, trailing by 10.
Yeah, and there's an injured player down for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as well. I think that might be Jamal Parker, who's the starting field corner. So with Adam Bighill being the story in this one, coming in and out of the game, back and forth. Weren't sure he was going to play game time decision. He's walking off the field right now towards the sideline, but so is his backup, Shane Gauthier. So maybe they're discussing about who's going in on 1st and 10 once they look at Jamal Parker's injury.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they move things around in the secondary if Jamal Parker is unable to continue. What did you think of Bighill in the first half? It looked like something locked up. He had to come out for a bit.
Yep.
But then, surprisingly, again, he came back into the ballgame.
He's fighting something, but he's fighting through it, which is exactly what you would expect. And I think back to the start of the week, the coach's press conference, where you ended up having Mike O'Shea, head coach of the Bombers, saying, I'm going to give Adam Bighill every single opportunity to play. He's clearly doing that as Parker's up on his feet headed to the sideline.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of holding his right arm in on the side of his body. So this looks like it might be an arm or a wrist issue that they are looking at. Bighill does come out with the defense. Montreal starts first possession, third quarter on their own 50. They'll give it to Stanback. Hesitated, found a big hole, heavy collision. That was with Dietrich Nichols, and Nichols looked a little bit wobbly to get up, didn't he?
I'm not sure that the injury spotter isn't going to maybe buzz down and have the official take a look at Dietrich Nichols. He was leaning sideways there after taking a huge hit from William Stanback. Montreal comes out, begins downhill, going off tackle left-hand side just like they did on the major earlier.
Looks like they've moved Evan Holm into that corner spot in place of Parker. Alexander slid down the halfback spot. Hallett's in at safety right now for this Winnipeg defense, who right now has everybody up on the line of scrimmage. Bighill will back off. Fajardo one-on-one down the far side of the field. Is that hauled in one-handed? Austin Mack. That's ridiculous. He was tied up and held by the defender and reached back with one arm and hauled it in.
What a catch by Austin Mack. Again, I said it in the first half, leads Montreal in contested catches. This is perfect execution from Cody Fajardo. He got into a simulated snap count. He saw the blitz coming. He got the extra pass protection. They plussed in. He knew he wanted to go with the football, and he back shoulders it to Austin Mack, who reaches back with just the right hand as Demario Houston grabbed his left. Doesn't matter. Big chunk for the Owls.
Absolutely spectacular catch from Mack. Fajardo with time, looking to the end zone, got it! Touchdown, Speaker! Alouettes find the end zone, and what a bang to start the second half.
Cole Speaker, week 21 last year for Montreal on the road against Toronto, was a meaningless game. He came in, he had 7 targets, 7 catches, over 100 yards and a touchdown. A little over a year later, here he is in the end zone in the Grey Cup.
Just 1 touchdown in the regular season. Cole Speaker snuck in behind Bighill.
Well, I think they
attacked.
They found the matchup there where they got a motion that left Adam Bighill on an island with the motioning Cole Speaker. Bighill couldn't run with them, and I think that was the plan of attack all the way that time. A little seam route leaking out of the backfield for Speaker. It works perfectly. Great throws, back-to-back plays by Cody Fajardo.
And Cote knocks it through. We have a 3-point game. 10 straight completions for Cody Fajardo, the most recent into the hands of Cole Speaker, and the Alouettes have momentum here early in the second half on the TSN Radio Network. Welcome back to the Hammer. Dustin Neilson and Marshall Ferguson with you, and what a start to the third quarter of this football game. 3 plays, 60 yards.
That's it?
97 seconds. And the Montreal Alouettes, I guess they weren't rattled by what happened at the end of the first half.
That's incredible resiliency, but when you think about the way that Montreal has been counted out all season long, whether it's, they've got the head coach that failed offensively in Saskatchewan. They've got the quarterback nobody wanted. They've got new ownership. We'll see how that turns out. All year they've been doubted, and they continue to be doubted after the way the first half ended, but they absolutely got the matchup that they wanted here with Adam Bighill trying to run out and cover Cole Speaker. They fly stand back to the flats. That pulls out Evan Holm. You end up having a seam route with one-on-one with Bighill against Speaker, and just a beautiful back shoulder throw, too. If you lead that up the inside for Cody Fajardo, there's always the risk that the free safety might get involved. Cody basically threw it to a void in the field there where there was just a bunch of open turf, and Speaker adjusted to it perfectly.
On watching some of the replays here, Bighill,
he knows.
Nothing he can do there. I'm going to be interested to see how much longer they can keep him in if Montreal decides to keep attacking him. Cody Fajardo is 12 of 14 for 179 yards and a touchdown in this football game. Janarian Grant awaits the ball, set to return it. Hustles under it, takes it cleanly at the 25, near sideline. Now back to the middle of the field, and Grant tracked down from behind around the 45. Another nice return tackle made there by Gagnon.
Austin back shoulder fade, set up Cole Speaker going down the field. And if I'm Winnipeg right now and I'm those receivers on the sideline, I'm thinking to myself, it might be time for us to go make a play or two for our quarterback here. Kenny Lawler had a couple of opportunities, but hasn't had the sensational big shot plays down the field. The Bombers are the best team in the CFL when it comes to taking shots 20 or more yards down the field. I got a feeling they're going to get a little impatient here that Montreal's hanging around.
Both of Montreal's touchdowns set up by big plays from Austin Mack. Now they'll flip it ahead to Dembski. Dembski turns it upfield. Nick Dembski far side, first down more. Gets about 15 before he's forced out of bounds. They'll mark him out at the Montreal 48. That's how you start a response drive.
Little jet sweep this time to Dembski, the base playbook for Buck Pierce. We've seen this when Paul Lavalise, our coach on the CFL and TSN, was in the same situation. Offensive coordinator, they just fake it to Oliveira, flip it underneath, and a perfect kick-out block. Rasheed Bailey gets up to Deontay Ruff in the corner for the Alouettes. Jamarcus Hardrick is up to the second level, and you leave Wesley Sutton one-on-one to push Nick Dembski out of bounds. But simple stuff for the Bombers. Nice piece on first down.
1st and 10 from the 48. Oliveira right up the middle, lowers his shoulders, and gets a nice chunk up the gut on first down. That'll leave them around 2nd and 3.5.
And Matt Dunnigan said this in the first half. At the end of it there, he said the Bombers, what they do is they pound it, they play action, and then they push it. If I'm the Alouettes defensively right now, I'm wondering, when is that push-it moment going to come? When are they going to play off these inside handoffs to Oliveira and decide to try and hit a home run over the top?
Well, 2nd and 3. They just brought in Janarian Grant into the game, and Dalton Schoen made his way back out onto the field. So an interesting setup here from the Bombers. They will give it to Oliveira. One little jump cut. He's got a first down inside the 35. Used Janarian Grant as a bit of a decoy there.
Yeah, we've seen James Letcher do the same thing for the Montreal Alouettes on offense. A little bit of a bubble screen look from the Owls earlier. This time a fake end around to the speedy Janarian Grant, trying to hold the backside Sean Lemon just to make sure they could get it up inside. But Darnell Sankey is doing everything he can. Nick Dembski gets enough of him that time that Brady Oliveira can run through the arm tackle, and another first down for the Bombers.
Darnell Sankey, team leading 5 tackles for the Alouettes defense. Winnipeg works from the Montreal 34, looking to answer themselves. Collaros on the run, out to his right. Pressure coming, gets it away, and that is hauled in at the 25 as he goes to Kenny Lawler for the 3rd time today.
And they pick up 9 yards, it looks like, so the short team might come out. But this is, again, what is so great about Zach Collaros. They're just running a little flat corner route and a curl from Kenny Lawler. And it doesn't matter if you defend it properly the first time. Zach will just extend the play, fade to his right, wait you out. His receivers break free from coverage, and then a little sidearm sling for a gain of 9.
Nice to have those options for Zach there.
Incredible.
Seems like when they get him out to the right on purpose, he always looks like he wants that deep shot like we saw to Wolotarski earlier. But then all of a sudden you got Kenny Lawler just standing there, and it's an easy completion. Prukop into the game, straight ahead. First down, Winnipeg, as the march continues.
And Caleb Evans longingly looks on from the Montreal sidelines saying, hey, if that would have been us, we'd be leading this football game right now. Brewcop in that short yardage unit have absolutely been in control of these situations. Just leans off to the left-hand side behind Jeff Grace, Stanley Bryant. Tui Eli is in there as well, the fullback Jackson. So he was just rolling over that left-hand side all the way down inside the 20.
Takes Winnipeg inside the red zone. Fourth trip there today, field goal and 2 touchdowns from ace statsman John Perlberg passing it along. From the Montreal 19, 1st and 10. Oliveira, patient, nothing opens up, gets a couple of yards on first down for Winnipeg. He's already up around 85 yards in this game.
And Collaros broke the huddle that time and kind of did the let it roll signal. He was letting the entire offensive unit know, hey, I got the look that I like. We can roll ahead and run the football here. If he didn't like it, he would have killed it, gone into a second play, potentially being a pass play, but he got the look. He thought he was going to get a bigger chunk. It still leaves second and about 8.
Saw them on their first possession of the ball game be held to a field goal, almost on the second possession as well, but then a penalty kept that drive alive and led to the first touchdown of the ball game. 2nd and 9 from the Montreal 18. A big down here, just 3-man pressure from the Alouettes. Collaros with time underneath, has a completion down to the 10, and that is going to be extremely close. It will be a first down for the Bombers. Drew Wolotarski comes up big.
Catching 73% of the targets he's been thrown at this season. Little crossing route underneath, zone coverage. Zach just steps forward in the pocket. Nice clean pocket that time from the Bombers. And Wolotarski picks him up and puts him down.
First catch of the game for Wolotarski. And now he will check out of the game along with Dalton Schoen, as Winnipeg will work first and goal. This would have to suck the life out of the Alouettes a little bit after that great drive in 90 seconds to have them walk all over you on the way back down.
I got a feeling we're going to go back and forth in this one. Montreal is going to have to answer no matter what Winnipeg does here.
Lawler, Dembski into the slot to the right of Collaros. He's going to roll that way. He's going to throw that way. Intercepted. Taking it away from Kenny Lawler. It's KB Ento. And Zach Collaros has been picked off here in the Grey Cup.
6'2", 189, but arms that go all the way down to his knees. This is where the length becomes a huge issue when you're playing against the secondary of the Alouettes. Kenny Lawler, one of the best high-point receivers in the CFL, but Ento goes up and gets it above him.
Lawler was waiting for it to drop into his hands, and it was taken away by the Alouettes defense. Ento gets the job done. We'll step away from Tim Hortons Field on the TSN Radio Network. Welcome back to Hamilton. Dustin Neilson and Marshall Ferguson with you here on the TSN Radio Network from Tim Hortons Field. Zach Collaros throwing just his second red zone interception of the season, and
Incredible.
You love this play defensively.
This is crazy from KB and Ento, okay? So he's basically sitting at the corner spot with his eyes inside. They throw Nick Dembski to the flats right in front of him. KB and Ento has his eyes inside, and his hips are facing towards the Winnipeg end zone. If I'm Zach Collaros, he's flat-footed. He should not be able to get to the back of the end zone with the ball being snapped at around the 15-yard line. But what happens is, as Collaros pumps towards the flats, he's going to end up trying to draw Ento down. Ento just guesses. Ento turns, runs, and covers more ground than he should be able to. And then with the alien-like reach, he skies high, picks it off, and has an interception for the second straight week.
Just an incredible athletic play from Ento. Montreal has the ball back, and they've got a completion near side. Parker is back in the game. He's involved on the tackle here of Sneed, who's going to be marked just short of a Montreal first down, second and about a yard.
And again, another really smart called completion that time with Jason Moss and Anthony Calvillo trying to get Cody into a rhythm. They'll bring out the short yardage team that failed at the end of the first half in this one, so Fajardo goes to the sidelines, but trying to get him into rhythm, trying to find smart throws, and again, trying to get into the end zone off of turnovers. of all the points that they've scored in this playoff run over the last 2 games with Montreal Alouettes, a lot of them, 36 of the 65, have come after opponent turnovers, trying to add to that right now.
Time of possession in this game, 24 minutes, 14 minutes. The advantage right now in favor of the Bombers. Evans pushes it ahead, gets it done here, no problem. That is a first down. Cody Fajardo has completed 11 passes in a row, and he'll trot back out on the field here with his regular offense.
And Cody had kind of a rhythm like this, the way they were just calling completions for him. What I mean by that is it's not as though they're gifting him completions. They're just trying to set him up for success. Flying receivers to the flats, settling down in between zones. His receivers are seeing the game really clearly, especially Tyler Snead and Austin Mack right now. When they crossed midfield last time, they took some shots. Here they're setting up at about the 41.5-yard line in their own end with Stanback in behind.
4 options out to the right for Fajardo. Bring a couple of them in here to block. Hand it off to Stanback, and he's going to push ahead. And that's one of his better runs of the night. Sets up second and extremely manageable, probably about 3-4 yards.
And again, a big down in distance here for the Montreal Alouettes as they try to continue this drive. 8th in the CFL at converting on 2nd and 4 to 6 yards this season. Just 46.4% of the time they're able to convert from this. But if they're able to and get it across midfield, then the playbook really opens up.
Adam Bighill back on the sidelines here. Shane Gauthier into the game. Middle linebacker spot. He's going to creep up towards the line a little bit. Fajardo takes the snap cleanly. Pressure coming, and it's batted down right in the face of Cody Fajardo. It's Brian Cole who went up and disrupted things.
The blitz was on, and you knew that Cody had to get rid of it quickly, but just when you think it's going to be Jeff Coder Jefferson, here comes Brian Cole off the edge. He lines up like he's coming. He flies off the edge. They leave him unprotected. Stanback, it looks like, might have gone to the wrong side in pass protection, but out of Fajardo's hand quickly that time. 41 goes up and gets it, knocks it away, and they get off the field defensively to the Bombers.
Brian Cole's one of these guys who's been great on special teams, but you can see that he could eventually play regularly on a defense in the Canadian Football League. 2 knockdowns during the regular season. Has another big one here. This kick gets away cleanly. A towering bomb that's going to bounce at the 7, all the way down, and it sits dead at the 1. Grant will pick it up there, looking for some space, not gonna find it.
Wow.
Taken down just shy of the 10. Some fine work from Zima on that one. Can't do it much better. Montreal Alouettes have the Bombers pinned, a 61-yard kick, and we'll head to break from Tim Hortons Field with under 5 minutes to play in the third quarter on the TSN Radio Network. Winnipeg leading the Grey Cup 17-14 over the Montreal Alouettes. Thank you very much for joining us. Dustin Neilson, Marshall Ferguson, coast to coast on the radio, bringing you the Grey Cup. Congratulations on getting one in here, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah, this is awesome.
Stuff,
this is
isn't
my
it?
first time calling a Grey Cup. Great to be alongside you, and great that we have a close game as well, 17-14. Montreal obviously wishes they could have punched it at the end of the first half. They get one at the start of the second half with that great throw to Cole Speaker. But now again, we zoom out for a second. We think big picture. You get the interception from Kabianento. Then you end up getting the incredible punt, the sidewinder that dies at the 1-yard line. Only a gain of about 8 yards on the return. And so you've been able to pin Winnipeg back. Again, if you can get a stop and if you can get off the field, you have completely changed field position with what? Defense and special teams. We said coming in, if Montreal had a chance to win this game, it had to be through defense and special teams.
And they've got better results offensively than we thought they would have had so far as well. They'll hand it off to Brady Oliveira. And Darnell Sankey, among others, are there for the tackle after a pickup of about 4 yards.
They'll bring in Dalton Schoen here as the lone substitution. Ugwak is going to check out to the sideline, and looks like they're calling out for somebody to come flying off the sideline. Some late substitution from the Alouettes.
Second and 6 from the Winnipeg 13. Throwing situation for Kolaris. Flushed out of the pocket on the run near side. He's got Dembski. Dembski makes one man miss. Gets it out to the 25. First down Winnipeg, and the reliable arms of Nick Dembski for his team leading 5th catch.
That's what makes Zach Collaros, again, so difficult in so many different situations. This time he just steps up in the pocket, shimmies, sees number 10 sitting out there along the left-hand side, rips it to him, and you know Dembski, with somebody running at full speed, is going to just a little wiggle here, a little juke there, and all of a sudden, looks like Tyrese Beverett is the one he actually made miss, overruns it. Dembski cuts back, gets some more yards after the catch.
Sutton eventually there on the tackle. But up to the Winnipeg 28. Zach Collaros, 12 of 16, 162 yards, and an interception. They'll hand it off. Oliveira, big hole. Flag on the play. He picks up the first down. But this is going to be coming back on a hold against Winnipeg.
I almost wonder if this isn't going to be an inside-out kind of chop block situation from Winnipeg. There was a lot of clanging and banging down there.
10-yard penalty.
Yeah.
Remains first down.
They got Hardrick. It is a hold, Dustin, but trying to get a hold of that defensive end spot with Lawal Uguak again, making a mess in the pile. Not sure they needed the hold either. Brady was free on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage.
We said in the last break we're in, this game is flying by. There have not been many penalties in this football game. That's a big one. Backs the Bombers up, 1st and 20 on their own 18. 3 options out, wide side right for Zach. Under fire, gets it away, wide open over the middle. That's hauled in all the way up to the 35. And they almost got it all back right there. And he goes back to Dembski again.
And another trick in the bag of Zach Collaros here, right? Last play, we saw him step forward, find Dembski sitting along the sideline, the vision showing up. This time, he steps back in the pocket, he realizes that the pressure's coming, and all of a sudden the feet start firing. And he just resets his hips and then finds Dembski over the middle of the field. The internal clock was going off on Collaros, and he just extended it for a second or two, but you could see mentally his feet were responding and saying, I gotta find a way to get rid of this football in the next second or I'm gonna go down for a sack.
Job's not done just yet though. Needed 20, got 18, 2nd and 2 on the Winnipeg 36. Dembski now 6 catches, leads the game, 64 yards receiving as well. Prukop into the game, pushing ahead, and they do that so well. It's a Winnipeg first down.
Yeah, they move it easily off that right-hand side once again, but we've seen Oliveira, we've seen Dembski. The yardage totals on the season, both over 1,000. Oliveira 1,500 rushing. First time for Dembski going over 1,000 yards receiving in his 8th CFL season. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers lucky to have those two, and they are certainly out in front when you're talking about most outstanding Canadian by the end of this one.
This drive started inside the Winnipeg 10. They have now crept up to their own 39. Collaros, 13 of 17, up to 180 yards, passing so far, and flags here.
Bunch of flags on the play.
And the Bombers are going to be backed up again.
Winnipeg number 66, it's 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
The Bombers group doesn't take many offensive penalties, as they only had 46 on the entirety of the season go against their offense, so a little uncharacteristic here at the back end of the third quarter.
3 penalties in this game for Winnipeg, just 2 for Montreal, but 2 of those for Winnipeg on this drive. Managed to fight through the last one, get it back on a big play to Dembski. 1st and 15 here, 1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock in the third quarter. Oliveira, oh, he's heavily caught, Brady Oliveira. Uguak was there to blow him up.
And just as soon as I start talking about Canadians making an impact and getting out in front for awards by the end, Uguak says, not so fast, my friend. Steps around what looks like Stanley Bryant. 5th Grey Cup, Stanley Bryant's in. He just dances around him here, gets his head on the right side. Brady never saw him coming.
All Brady saw was a hole, and he's thinking, here we go. And you're right, Uguak popped right off of Stanley Bryant, blew him up. 2nd and 12, Collaros certainly throwing here, pressure up the middle, dumps it off. Couple of blocks here for Dembski, and he's hammered as well. 3rd down, Winnipeg, as the Alouettes crank up things physically.
Avery Williams in on that one. Also thought Armando Silva might have got blocked in the back, but being short of the sticks, doesn't look like Montreal sideline too angry about it. But man, Montreal's defense, ever since that Ento interception, they have fired it up. It feels like they are in rhythm now, playing fast and hitting everything in sight.
Yeah, Sankey came in. You're right. Williams got a good chunk of them as well. And now they'll be forced to kick it away. Philpott waiting for it. 3rd and 7. Low kick. Jamison Sheen drops it in. Philpott takes it, tripped up, just shy of the 35. The Bombers come up with the ball, but the whistle had already gone.
And interesting to see James Letcher not receive that punt return as well.
Yeah, he has looked dangerous at times tonight. Grey Cup continues to roll along. We've got 3 quarters in the books. 3-point game. Do not go anywhere as we continue here on the TSN Radio Network. Welcome back, everybody. We are at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton, settling in for the 4th quarter of the Grey Cup. A 3-point game between the Bombers